It's for us, this is the way we can ask the pure devotee, a pure Vaishnava, that if they can have a mercy on us, so we can get the Krishna, because without their mercy, we cannot get Krishna. And this is the secret. Not everybody knows, and not everybody tells you. And that's what this prayer is all about. This is by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he's teaching us, he's our teacher, in our parampara, in our disciplic successor. And he almost, he restarted the Sankirtan movement in Navadvip, and it is for us. So he's saying this is our prayer. And we are always the servant of a devotee, of a devotee, of a devotee, of a devotee. That's what it is. So it says that Gopi Bharata Padakamalayu Dasam Das. So this prayer is about that. So this gives us the mood, because we are always thinking that I am the one, and then you can see our step where we are actually. This is such a great acharya who was the judge of a high court during the English time, when the English people were there. During that time, he was a magistrate in West Bengal, and he's talking, so that's where we have to learn from. What is our position, where we are so much attached to the material things. So, welcome you all for Saturday evening. We usually are every Saturday here. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days we are here. And we do Aarti Kirtan class. Friday we usually do chanting, from 7 to 8 every Friday. And every Saturday we read from Srimad Bhagavatam and try to understand what Prabhupada's purport, to see what he has to tell us, how we should be, get advancement in the spiritual knowledge, spiritually, or how we can get advanced. And then on Sunday we also talk about Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So those is our plan for the week. Every week after week, week after week. We are getting the training that we need, because it's because of lack of training that we are into the situation where we are. So we are trying to train ourselves, to serve Krishna. Because we've been serving everybody else in this material world but Krishna, who is the master, but we have forgotten that he is a master. And then by coming here, we can learn that how we can serve him, how we can engage ourselves in Krishna's service. So every Saturday we talk a little bit of a Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, it says that Nidam Kalpa Taror Galitam Phalam Sukhamukhad Nirutadra Sanyatam Vivad Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuri. It's a spotless scripture, and it has been taught to us by our spiritual master Srila Prabhupada that there is almost like a postgraduate study, and when you go masters, that's what in spiritual knowledge, if you want to do masters, you have to be good in Srimad Bhagavatam. So I have one devotee, he came from San Diego, and I asked him, what are the books are you reading? And he says, I have read all 12 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is 18,000 slokas. He has read it. As I heard it inspired, this is how he says, I read Srimad Bhagavatam, and then I read all these scriptures by all these our teachers. He said, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Goswami Maharaj, and then Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And then I decided that this is it, this is what I want to do. So it was such a nice thing here. But Srimad Bhagavatam can get you into this training and advance your spiritual knowledge. So everybody should read Srimad Bhagavatam, at least one slok per day. Our Vidyasankar Prabhu is reading right now. Which canto are you reading? Seventh canto. Same canto which we are talking right now. So we also talk about Srimad Bhagavatam because it is also considered spotless scripture. Not only that, but it has been touched by Sukadeva Goswami, and that's why it is even sweeter. It's sweeter, and so here we are into seventh canto also, where Allah Maharaj is giving the transcendental knowledge. He's talking about it in seventh canto, and he's also one of our acharya. In his footsteps we are walking. So he teaches us the complete transcendental knowledge, and so far we have learned the 9 different processes of bhakti, right? Beginning with Sravana, hearing. So by hearing, it is also one of the service we offer to Krishna. 9 different, right? Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Arjunam, Vandam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, the final. But Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas teaches us that you can take any of them, any of the service you can take, and then you can be liberated. Or you can go back to Godhead. No matter, it's guaranteed. When you say guaranteed, do you really believe that? Yes? How many of you believe it? Very nice. Yeah, we believe it. Why we believe it? Why do we believe it? Why do we believe it? Why you believe it? Because if you don't believe it, you cannot advance. You have to have Shraddha. So this whole process starts with the first step, which is you have to have Shraddha, faith. And how does the faith comes? Sometimes we ask, how do we really get faith into this? So it has been said in our scriptures that by the mercy of a devotee, and sometime because you learn the principles of the scriptures, you're learning the principles of the scriptures, and second way you can get it is by the mercy of a devotee. Those are the 2 ways you can get faith, and then after you get the faith, then you want to start coming into the congregation like this, once you have faith, you come into congregation like this. It says Shraddha, and then you get after that Anartha Nivrutti, there's another, right? And then Bhajan Kriya. Because you have some little bit Shraddha, little bit faith, you come here, then you start saying that there are do's and don'ts, right? We call it in English. Certain things we have to do, certain things we don't. And then we start following, Your heart saying, yeah, this is the right thing, And then you come across the devotees. That's where because we already have this process, they call it a love for Krishna. The service for Krishna, we already have it in heart, But what happened is, it was been extinguished, or just a little bit burning, So then when you come across these people, that's called a fire, So you come across them, and that small little fire becomes big now, So that's what it is all about, So that's why we come across them, and then this become fire. Then Anarth Nivrutti, right? All these things keep on going then. And then you get more engaging. Then it's called convicted faith. That comes along. Now you are becoming very convicted. It says, okay, you're right, I'm going to do it. That's what comes. So these are the steps. This is where we come across. That's why we read from Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why, because among the devotees, we can be very, very strong that way. So I will read. We don't have a lot of time, but so here we talk every week from 7th canto, which is Prahlad Maharaj talking. And in that, Prahlad Maharaj has given this Navda Bhakti, and furthermore, he keep on talking. As you all know, we talked earlier too that his father is very, very mad because he thinks that he is a god. He doesn't think he like tell everybody to I am a god, and he doesn't think Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Prahlad Maharaj's father. Why he thinks that way? Why Hiranyakashipu thinks that he is the god? Is anybody know? So, Prahlad Maharaj tell him that only under the ignorance, only under the ignorance he thinks that he is the God, because he don't know this transcendental knowledge. And second thing is he is a demon. Demons don't believe. They think they are the one who is God, or there is no God, or there may be God, something like that. They are all demons. So, So Prahlad Maharaj finally he was teaching to his schoolmates, and he is teaching the spiritual philosophy to his schoolmates. And Hiranyakashipu thought that that is not the right thing. He should be learning politics from his teachers and everything. But so finally he get very, very mad. Couple of times he was being pushed back. Prahlad Maharaj was. But he would not listen, because spiritual thing is so strong, spiritual knowledge is so strong that material thing cannot affect. So his father's threat, it doesn't matter to him. He was not scared of his father. So after that, his father quit, and he says that. So here in chapter 9, I think you guys read it previously. I wasn't here a couple of weeks ago. Prahlad Maharaj said, "My dear father, please give up your demoniac mentality. Do not discriminate in your heart between enemies and friends. Make your mind equipoised to everyone, except for the uncontrolled and misguided mind. There is no enemy within this world. When one sees everyone on the platform of equality, one then comes to the position of worshipping the Lord perfectly." Did you guys do that one? Verse 9? Or no?
Yes, 9 was done last week.
Done, yeah. So this is where we stopped, I think, that Prahlad Maharaj is requesting his father. He's saying that, "My dear father, please give up your demoniac mentality." We are also tell a lot of people, give up your demoniac mentalities. Come to the temple. Get fixed up. You are on the wrong way. When we tell somebody like that, what happens? They get mad. Similarly, his father also is mad. Because nobody wants to believe that they are not the controller. Everybody thinks they are the controller. And everybody thinks they are the one who does everything. All of us think that I have built this temple. I am the one who is doing this, If I am not here, this won't be done. Because I am the one. This ignorance, right? We have. And so, his father was also with that demoniac mentality. And so Prahlad Maharaj is requesting, "Dear father," he says, "my dear father," he says, Please give up your demoniac mentality. Do not discriminate in your heart between enemies and friends. Make your mind equipoised towards everyone, except for the uncontrolled and misguided mind. There is no enemy within the world. You believe that? Do we believe that there is no enemy in this world? When one sees everyone on the platform of equality, one then comes to the position of worshipping the Lord perfectly. So unless we come to this platform of equality, we cannot even give a service. We think that we give big service to Krishna all the time. I come here and I spend so much time. I chant 16 plus round every day. But here Prahlad Maharaj is guiding us and telling us that you are not yet qualified even to do the service. And Prabhupada explained, unless one is able to fix the mind at the lotus feet of Lord, the mind is impossible to control. Because we are not being able to control our mind and senses, right? So the way one can control their mind, or come to that position to control the mind and the senses, is that you can put your mind at the lotus feet of Krishna. That's the only way to do it. And in that Prabhupada quote about Arjuna, that how Arjuna says that I cannot control my mind, He said, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavat dradam tasyaham nigraham manye vayo eva sutuskar. It is very hard, harder than controlling the wind, Arjuna says. It's not possible to control. But what is Krishna telling? How to control the mind in Bhagavad Gita?
Focus on him.
Focus, yes. But mind cannot be focused. It's very, very, flickering. So Krishna says, Abhyasena. By doing abhyas, you can do it. Abhyas means abhyas means you put everything together a package. Abhyas doesn't matter, just you read something, You get engaged most of your senses into the service of Krishna, So for the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate and resistant, O Krishna, and to subdue it seemed to me, is more difficult than controlling the wind. The only bona fide process for controlling the mind is fix the mind by the service of the Lord. That's what it is. So we have to fix our mind into service. We always desire to do the service, That's the only way to do it, right? Do we always desire to serve Krishna? Is that what we do? Always desire to. So this Prabhuji came from San Diego and he wants to build a temple for Krishna. Such a great thing, right? Desire. Whether you can build it or not, but you have to desire. Desire is the first thing you have to do. In any work or anything you want to do in your life, you first have to desire, right? You have to have desire. And then Krishna comes in the picture. Krishna help to fulfill your desire. Especially the devotees who want to get engaged in his service. Start the cycle, gradually. And then you keep on testing every step of the way when you desire, right? Is desiring for something, is a real desire or is just, for so many other things, material desires. I want to make a lot of money, I want to be very famous by building your temple, Krishna, and when I build, so how pure is desire, it all depends on that. We create enemies and friends according to the dictation of the mind, that's it, Krishna also tells us in Bhagavad Gita that mind is a friend of yours and mind is an enemy, both ways. It's just you have to decide. We create enemies and friends according to the dictation of the mind, but actually there are no enemies and friends. Pandita Samadarsena, there is also a verse in Bhagavad Gita. Those who are cool-headed, those who are intelligent, they see everything in equality, They see a dog is equal to a dog eater, to equal to a Brahmin is an equal, and to a Gnani or a Pandit is equal. They are all on the same platform. That's what the person who is on that platform, that level, Pandit, you know. And then what happens when you start seeing everybody on an equal level? Then what happens? Sama sarvesu bhutesu madbhakti labhate para. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 that's where you come to that platform. You start seeing this equality, and then mad bhakti labhate para, my para bhakti, you know, which you can achieve. Sama sarvesu bhutesu mad bhakti labhate para. To understand this is the preliminary condition. That's the first condition, preliminary condition for entering into the kingdom of devotional service. So if you want to if you want to enter into devotional service, bhakti, then this is the first condition that you have to come to this platform. Right? So this is the training we are getting. This is training we have to do a bhakti. Otherwise we just keep on saying, I have this mala in my neck and the tilak very nice, external, you know. That is just like swimming on the surface. You know what swimming on the surface? That's what it is. You don't go deep down. You don't understand anything. You just keep on swimming on the top, you know. So we have to get out of that condition and perform this. If you want to serious about getting involved into devotional service, then as Prahlad Maharaj says, you know, we have to come to the platform of Pandita Hasamadarshina. We have to see everybody on equal platform. Further he says in chapter 10, slok 10, 10 to 7, chapter 8. He says, Prahlad Maharaj tell his father, he says, in former time there were many fools like you who did not conquer the 6 enemies that steal away the wealth of the body. These fools were very proud, thinking, I have conquered all the enemies in all the 10 directions. But if a person is victorious over the 6 enemies and is equipoised toward all living entities, for him there are no enemies. Enemies are merely imagined by one in ignorance. So by ignorance only, because we don't have a knowledge, that's the only reason we are trying to, think that this is my enemy or this is my friend. Otherwise, there is no friend, there is no enemy. In this material world, Prabhupada says, everyone thinks that he has conquered his enemies, not understanding that his enemies are his uncontrolled mind. So, if we cannot control our mind, that means mind becomes our enemy, because then it will make you do so many nonsense things, He will make you eat so many abhaksya things. The thing which you are not supposed to eat, you eat. You're not supposed to drink, you drink, because of the uncontrolled mind, So, also Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Manasastani indriyani prakriti sthanika. So these 6 senses, these, our eyes, our tongue, and our nose, these are all 5 different senses we have. And the 6th sense is the mind. So with that, we are struggling in this material world. In this material world, everyone has become a servant of the senses, That's why we are considered Go, Das. Go means Indriya, senses, and Das means servant. And those who have controlled it, they are called it Go Swami. They have controlled it. Originally, everyone is a servant of Krishna, but in ignorance one forgets that, and thus one is engaged in the service of. What do we get engaged into service of? Maya. You know. Through lusty desires, so here is the enemies comes. Desires, anger, greed, illusion, madness and jealousy. You know. Everyone is actually dependent on the reaction of the material laws. But one thinks himself independent and thinks that he has conquered all the direction. In conclusion, one who thinks that he has many enemies and an ignorant man is an ignorant man, whereas one who is in Krishna consciousness knows that there are no enemies but those within oneself, the uncontrolled mind and senses. So the Krishna conscious person, we need to learn that there is no outside enemy, it's inside you. This mind and these senses, you know. So who is the master of the senses then? Krishna, right? Krishna says, Ama Rusikesha, master of the senses. And our duty is Rusikena Rusikesa. So we have to serve with our senses to the Rusikes, the master of the senses. And that's our goal. So, person who is Krishna conscious, there are no enemies but those within oneself, the uncontrolled mind and senses. So we need to engage all our senses in service of Krishna. And then we need to control mind. And the only way you can control your mind is if you can take your mind at the lotus feet of Krishna and engage in the service of the Lord. That's the only way. Hare Krishna. Any question or comment? We will talk about Hiranyakashipu, what he is going to talk and how he is going to take care of the Lord in the next week lesson. So thank you very much for joining this evening. We will have a nice prasadam after this Vyas Puja, and then I'm going to hand over the microphone to Nandalal Prabhu, because as I previously said, that today is the Jayapataka Maharaj appearance day, and so we're going to observe it here and doing the Vyas Puja for him. So can you talk about the Maharaj?
Instead of me talking, there's a small video, a 3 minutes clip on YouTube. We can play that.
Can you? Okay. Why don't you?
Go to YouTube.
So, Nandadulal Prabhu, he migrated from Seattle, Washington, a few months ago. And he's a very, very nice devotee. He helps us, our temple, into doing flyers. And then also he does, his goal is to preach, to bring other soul into this movement. Because once you become Krishna conscious, once you become devotee, that becomes your goal. How I can engage other people into the service of Krishna also. So he's a very nice devotee, and he has taken initiation from Jayapataka Maharaj. And I think there is a clip we are going to watch on YouTube about Maharaj. And as far as I know, I have met Jayapataka Maharaj a couple of times. And he is just something. If you meet him, if you hear him, he's such a nice devotee of Krishna. And Prabhupada also has said so many nice things about Jayapataka Maharaj. So let's watch the video. So we all would have an opportunity to offer the flower to such a great devotee. We just sang this bhajan, right? That we need the mercy of such a great devotee. He's a very nice, pure devotee. So we will offer a flower, we glorify him, and then we will also ask for the mercy of Jayapataka Maharaj so that we can progress further into this business.
The request is please pay full attention.